If you think that email marketing is dead, then you're probably leaving thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table every single month. Now look, I get it. Most brands tend to obsess over paid ads like TikTok or Facebook marketing, but the real gold is not that. Surprisingly, the Google ads that you're trying to find, the UGC, and every kind of algorithm hack that you're trying to find is not where the money is. The real money is sitting in your email marketing, and most people are not even scratching the surface. It's exactly how companies like the Dollar Shave Club, Him and Hers, and Liquid Death have scaled so dramatically in such a short amount of time. And I'm going to give you exactly the step-by-step of the 2025 landscape, the tips and tricks, and how you can apply it to your brand to make sure that you're on path with the recent trends and that you are making killer amounts of money from email. And the best part is that even if you already have email marketing, you're using the correct tools like Klaviyo, then I can almost guarantee that you're almost there, but I can also bet that you're not even scratching the surface. I'm going to touch on a lot of those points in this video on exactly what you can do, how you can apply it, and how you can get going now. And one of the biggest mistakes that companies are making is that they are just mass sending to their entire list. Now, this might have worked about 2 years ago, but this is no longer the case, and it's no longer the meta of what is working in 2025. The real thing that is working in 2025, and this is tip number 1, is advanced personalized emails, especially using Klaviyo's personalized and predictive data. This personalized and predictive data is especially helpful in the segmentation and running creative campaigns to those segments. Now, there's 3 main segments that you really want to focus in on. Number 1 being the predicted customer lifetime value. Now, as you can imagine, this is incredibly valuable because if it falls below the average lifetime value, you know that you need to prompt these people with better upsells, and you can try and find strategic ways to send to these segments to get them to spend more and return more often. And those are 2 of the 3 main metrics that you need to increase your revenue. Number 1 being increased customers. You need more customers actually spending money with you. The second thing is you need those customers to come and return more often. And the third thing is you need those customers to spend more every single time they purchase. Those altogether contribute about 33% each to increasing your revenue at least 100% of the way. Now, the next segment that you want to create is the predicted next order. So this way you can go and create a segment of everyone that's going to place an order within the next week or so, and you can go and prompt them with refill reminders, with reminder to order, and with creative offers to make sure that they are spending when they're most likely to. Now, the third and the final segment that you should be creating with your predictive analysis, and this is just 3 that is scraping the surface of the possibility, but the third one is engagement-based segments. Now, the way that you can do this, you can segment differently between the VIP segments, which would be categorized by people that are most likely to spend the most amount of money with you, and then the non-engaged buyers, and you should be sending separate categories of campaigns to each of them. Now, here's an example of how you can go ahead and set this up. What you want to do is you want to log in and open Klaviyo. From there, you want to navigate to the segments tab on the left. Once you're there, you want to create a dynamic segment. With this, you want to make the definition to the point where you are making sure that you're sending to people that are predicted to purchase within the next 7 days. From here, you can constantly target this segment with very personalized offers to prompt them to make that purchase. And you can think of other creative ways that you can actually use this. Maybe there is a lifetime value that you want to predict. You can go ahead and start creating unique offers to make sure that you're combating those low-hanging fruits that are lying directly in your segmented lists. So as you can imagine, personalized emails is the way to go. And the best way to do that is to use the AI-given data so that you can just go and make predicted moves instead of thumb-sucking every single bit of your strategy. And now that you've got your segmentation down and you're kind of starting to use predictive analysis, what you can go ahead and do is tip number 2, which is creating advanced flows. Now, don't get me wrong, the welcome email, the cart abandonment, the browse abandonment, all of those are equally as important, but those are all the 101 entry-level flows. What you really need to be focusing on is the advanced flows. And the 3 that we really like to hone in on is number 1, the post-purchase flow, which is more of an upsell flow. Now, the way that we set this up is we build it out in a sequence of emails to where the first one is immediately sent off once they have made their purchase directly after checking out. Here, we make sure that we are offering some kind of compounding product or complementary product. So for example, if you are a supplement company and you offer some capsules, then you can go ahead and offer a gummy that boosts focus or whatever the case is. And you can make sure that you're choosing the product that these customers are most likely to purchase alongside it. It's the same way that all the other companies do it. Other e-commerce brands do it at their checkout. So for example, Nike, the way that they do it is they will make you add either a shipping extra or some kind of fast track extra, or they will make you add some socks or something to that degree that is lower ticket. You can choose a strategic way to do it, but the way that we do it is we immediately send an offer with dynamic blocks of what they're most likely to like as a customer, again, using the AI predictive analysis. From there, once they make the purchase, we then like to go ahead and send them a follow-up depending on the life cycle of that specific product. So if it's a 30 count of gummies or it's a 30 count of capsules, and we know that they should be taking that every single day, then around the 25-day cycle, when that is about to end and they need to come to a refill, we'll send them another informative email saying what we think that they can pair with their next order. So giving them a little bit of information and ideally upselling to the next higher ticket price in that exact same category. So it's still a product they like, but they will be spending more. That's how we strategically set it up and how you can as well to add an extra layer of conversion. Now, the next advanced flow that so many people get wrong is the sunset flow. The reason people get this wrong is because they're damaging their deliverability dramatically. And the reason for that is because they're prompting and encouraging people to unsubscribe, which therefore encourages the mail platform to mark you as a bad sender, and it damages your reputation and you'll start landing in spam. Instead, the real way to do it is to send a final Hail Mary offer. This is your highest offer, similar to what you would do in a win-back flow. This is maybe a 50 or a 60% off, whatever you're willing to spend to attract a new customer and make them a repeat purchaser. It also depends on how confident you are in your product and making someone a repeat purchaser once they use it. Once you send that offer, if they don't take it, what you want to do is you want to send another email about 3 days or so later. And in this email, you want to make it a text simple email saying, hey, we noticed you haven't been active lately. Would you still like to receive our emails? Click this button. And it is just a simple yes or no. From there, you will manually go and add them, or you can automatically segment them into a list that you'll manually unsubscribe or delete from your profiles. That way, you're keeping and maintaining your deliverability, and you're also maintaining the list health. Now, lastly is a flow that everyone has but doesn't do correctly, and this is the VIP flow. So many people neglect to use this in the correct way. It is not good enough to promise that you're going to offer some kind of early access and sneak previews to sales and never even use it. You need to be thinking uniquely about the segment of audience in a way that they are more guaranteed to spend a lot more money with you. Keeping in mind, these VIPs should be based on frequency of purchase or the amount that they have actually spent with you. These are people that are guaranteed to be dedicated to the brand regardless of what you offer. These are the people you need to look after because they're the ones talking about the brand. They will spend on it and they keep you running when the rest of the audience doesn't. So you want to treat them with exclusivity to encourage them to spend more, especially when the rest of the list isn't. So you have to think creatively about unique offers, unique benefits, and perks that you can add onto this. And this is where a lot of companies go wrong. Now, keep in mind, there's a big difference between discounting a brand and adding perks to a brand. And this is what the catch is. So many people neglect the audience because they can't think of exclusive perks without offering some kind of discount. It doesn't have to be that way. If you just send out faster shipping times, or you promise them something that is a big pain point for the rest of the audience, maybe it's a price decrease every single time they place an order, or maybe it's loyalty points gathered over time for the longest time that they are VIPs. Whatever it is, you need to be offering it and capitalizing on that list. Now that we've covered segmentation and we've covered flows, the next natural and most important step are your email sendouts and your email campaigns. Now, the best way that you need to go into this is, again, utilizing AI. And I'm not just talking about prompting ChatGPT to give you some text. What I'm talking about is using personalized AI to make sure that you are actually sending out personalized emails with subject lines with the most likelihood of being opened. And you're also using that personalization to suggest products that the audience actually wants. So some use cases where we use this is we will create a sample size of our most engaged buyers. These are people that usually buy our product or have been repeat purchases over a long period of time. So they are more dedicated to the brand and more likely to buy what we have to offer. What we'll do is we'll create a sample size. So if you have 5,000 engaged buyers, we'll create a sample size of 500 and 500. Out of them, we'll send split tested offers with a dollar off or a percentage off. This way, we start to figure out what the audience actually wants and what people are most likely to convert for, especially so we can use this data to get conversions from the win-back audience, which is incredibly invaluable. So from there, you want to send some split tests and you want to test the subject line, you want to test some CTAs, you want to test the offer. From here, you have an educated idea that you can run, especially over those big periods like Black Friday. This is what we do for our clients. We make sure that during the rest of the off months where there are no big sales, we are constantly testing what the audience will want during those big sales so we can optimize for the best outcome. That's how the best brands get the most amount of sales, because they're constantly running tests to prove what the best offer will be instead of thumb sucking what it might be when the time comes. Now, keep in mind, you can also split test the copy at a variation of scale. So we like to test between short copy and long copy. We like to test with the different wording of the CTA, and we'll do different phases of split testing to make sure that we are certain about what we're sending out. Now, the next thing you should be doing with personalization and AI is Klaviyo has a predictive ability where you can put in dynamic product blocks based on what that customer is most likely to purchase. So if you're running some kind of discount sale, instead of just suggesting generic categories or suggesting the best sellers, you want to instead be suggesting the products they are most likely to buy regardless of what is on offer. So that is how you want to run your emails, and you can even add some extra personalization in there. But for now, make sure that you're not ostracizing your entire audience. When I'm talking about personalized emails and using AI, yes, I'm talking about personalizing it to the specific category of consumer, but don't neglect a massive part of your audience by sending things that don't matter to them. And what I mean by that is you've gone through the segmentation. You should be using that personalized segmentation and that strategic segmentation to start planning your campaigns. It shouldn't be the other way around. You need to figure out where the low-hanging fruit is and send them personalized campaigns based on what they want to see. So for example, if you're sending out an email based on sleep, but I don't have any problem with my sleep, I'm going to ignore that email and I'm therefore being ostracized, and your chance of success or conversion is going to be completely diminished. Whereas if on the same day you sent an email about sleep to sleep consumers and you sent an email about focus to me as a focus consumer, I will very likely convert, and the sleep people will convert simultaneously. So you're not neglecting any part of your audience. And while I'm talking about emails, one thing you have to remember is there is a fourth secret sauce that so many people don't utilize correctly, and that is a retargeting loop that you can build into Klaviyo itself. Now, what I'm talking about is using email and SMS simultaneously to get the best outcome. Now, the way that we do this and the way that you can set it up, and honestly, this is the way every single massive brand in the world has it set up, is they'll have this feedback loop where there are multiple touch points. So first of all, they'll send an email out to the customer base with some kind of specific offer. Now, if that audience does not convert because of that offer, a lot of brands will send out an SMS shortly after, maybe an hour or two afterwards, to prompt them to get that offer specifically. And if they never take that offer up even from there, then they'll run them into retargeting ads on Meta. So you can do the exact same thing, especially with your abandoned checkout process. This is where the most amount of conversion should be coming from in the flow section. So it should be your welcome flow and your abandoned cart flow. These should be generating the most amount of revenue. And if they're not, there's probably tons of room for improvement. The way that you can do it is with the abandoned checkout. You can send out that email about 15 minutes after they abandon the checkout. Then send out another email 2 hours after, and simultaneously a text message saying, hey, by the way, your cart's about to expire, here's 20% off. From there, you can retarget them with ads on Facebook, and you can say, hey, you did abandon your checkout. Here are some offers that we have right now. Things like that, so that you're constantly touching points with them so that they are more likely to convert. And if you want to hear something crazy that just proves my point on how important omnipresence is, then here is a crazy statistic for you. Brands that implement an omnipresent channel where they have SMS, email, and ads running simultaneously experience a 40 to 60% increase month over month in their revenue. So look, I get it. Email marketing is evolving very quickly. Some people think it's dead, and on the other hand, it's evolving so quickly, some people just can't keep up, even though they know how important it is. So what I want to do is I want to give you some bonus tips. Now, these are not absolutely detrimental, but I think they're still valuable for you. The first trend that I see picking up in 2025 is advanced and personalized sign-up forms. The days of just prompting someone to get their email address for 10% off or a 20% off coupon code on their first purchase is not good enough. Now what brands are doing is they're making it a personalized journey. They're experimenting with different offers. They're putting them into these fun and more experiential experiences where they spin a wheel and they get a secret discount. But the real value is in making sure that you can segment off the get-go. So if you're offering supplements and you have specific categories for sleep, focus, anxiety, then what you need to do is you need to include that in the sign-up form. So when they go to your website, you can say, hey, out of curiosity, what are you looking for so we can help you? And the first one being, multiple choice option between focus, sleep, and anxiety. From there, once they check it off, they give you their email address, you give them a strong offer, then you can funnel them into very specific emails so that every single email from the get-go is catered to their interest instead of you losing their interest because you never speak to actually what they want to hear. The next valuable tip that I can give you is that AI-powered personalization is taking over. I've mentioned it a lot during this video, but you need to think about how creatively you can use it, whether that is in creative surveys that you can send out, whether it is a way that you can collect extra data from them. You need to know as much about your audience as you can to get the most amount of conversions that you possibly can as well. Unfortunately, there are tons of perks coming from Klaviyo that are going to encourage retention through predictability. And that is something you can look forward to as well. So with that being said, you have tons of tips and tons of things to implement. So I recommend you go into your backend, you start building those out. And if you're looking for a team to go in and do it for you, I run an email marketing agency that is specifically performance focused. Our guarantee is that we will double your investment within the first 90 days, and we will work for free until you do. So if that sounds good for you, then I'll see you on the other side. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.